Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, another big show ahead tonight. We take you up to Fisheries Victoria's Snobs Creek Fish Hatchery and take a look at how they produce Murray cod fingerlings. Pretty impressive stuff. We also have details of an open day at the hatchery in a couple of weeks' time. If you have never been there, do yourself a favour and mark the first Saturday in September in your diary. More details later in the show. Big welcome to Adam Ring, who's been down at the reopened Mornington Pier. Is the deck covered in ink yet?
Yeah, it certainly is, and it was great to see a lot of people down there for the opening, and what an impressive new pier it is.
Around about 100 people. I actually saw some photos. I know Mark from the Mornington store took a few, and a great landing down there for boats, so lower level, and some great stainless work up on the deck as well. Yeah,
the pier itself was really quite impressive. I know a lot of people would have seen it, I guess, before. Half of it was washed away and destroyed, but it definitely won't be a chance of happening that again. It's quite sturdy, and it's a massive, massive pier. You don't realise how big it is now until you get on there and have a look. So again, I'd get down there and have a look. Plenty of squid getting caught too.
And as I said, whatever sort of timber they used, it's now black with squid ink. But all good. And a big welcome to Trelly as always. Trelly, you made the Shepparton News this week with Federal MP Bob Baldwin and his plans to eradicate carp.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's got some really big plans for the Murray-Darling Basin. So a couple of years' time, we could see the end of most of the carp in the system, which would be a fantastic thing.
We're going to cover that later on in the show in Fisheries News, because that is big. I mean, carp have been the pest, haven't they, of any waterway.
The rats of the waterway.
They are. And they, not only from competing with other fish species, but the quality of the water and all that sort of stuff as well. It's pretty bad. But I'll tell you what,
it's just disastrous.
It'll be a massive job to eradicate them. You just can't imagine. You're going to talk about it in more detail. Won't take that away. Boys, some other big news during the week. Lake Tyers has finally burst its bank. It's been brewing and brewing and brewing, hasn't it? The level where the ocean meets Lake Tyers, there's just been that little sand spit in between.
So the car park almost become part of Lake Tyers.
The boat ramp. In fact, they have the floating pontoon, and the floating pontoon was actually up in the air like that from its mount.
Get your brim from the back of your car.
Yeah, so that's big news. I think we've got a photo. I'm not sure whether the boys just threw that up or not, but there is a photo of Lake Tyers all open, and there you go.
Look at that.
I was talking to Frank Melito down there. He runs the Caltex down there in Lakes Entrance, and he actually filmed an episode of iFish today. Not to give away too much on iFish, Paul, but maybe Paul, might have been doing a special on mullet.
Nice.
With Frank Melito, and it was a pretty big show. They had a great day down there. But Lake Tyers burst its banks. Open, it'll get a bit of a flush, it'll take a bit to equalise.
Give it a couple of weeks and the fishing is going to go off.
It's going to be crazy, really will be. So it's a great time of year. When things like that happen, it's a bit of a turnover, and there's a little bit of spring in the air, isn't there?
Yeah,
it's cold, it's dark.
Well, I think it was Sunday, maybe it was actually quite mild.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bitterly cold.
Even today wasn't too bad.
Yeah, you're right. Winds have been up, but just that hint of sunshine.
Yeah, absolutely. And the wattles are starting to go up our way. The wattles are starting just to get some bloomage, so things are starting to happen now.
The other side of the Great Divide, Trelly, are you getting sunshine? You get on the rain? Because we've still had a lot of rain, haven't we?
Yeah, patchy rain. We're getting patchy rain, but like you say, the days are definitely just that little bit warmer. No wind too helps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nice time of year.
Boys, let's have a look at what's being caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, where you get to see yourself on TV.
And I'll apologise up front that we could not possibly fit in all the catches of the week this week. Remarkable, boys. We're back on air 1 week.
Yep.
The amount of fish that were sent to us was not fish, pics of fish that were sent to us was absolutely fantastic, and great to see that people are getting out when the opportunity, gives it to the anglers. They get out there and do it.
Stir them up again.
And,
Absolutely.
And just having a look at the cheat sheet there, Dave, a bit of diversity there as well. There's quite a few different species caught, considering...
We'll start...
just spoke, it's been all right, but it's been pretty cold.
We'll start with one of the most tastiest fresh water in the land, but then roll out the barrel. But Simon Mikulski, I think it is, beautiful redfin, obviously in a little spot around Ferntree Gully.
Spot X.
Spot X. He sent me through a few photos, and probably that doesn't do justice of the fish, but we just wanted to show his face on camera as well.
How good are they to eat?
Absolutely.
They're
And they look like they're in prime condition
Yeah.
too.
And no one really talks about how good they are to eat
No.
either, do they?
But you sort of compare them to a nanagai. They're the freshwater nanagai.
Yeah.
Nice, white, firm flesh.
Quite
on them.
firm, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we chase those a bit.
Absolutely brilliant. Roll out the barrel, boys.
Here we go.
A couple of people decided to head down off Apollo Bay, off Portland, went out tuna fishing, and just have a look at this. Brendan Osborne, now I've actually got his email here because I want to read it. He had never caught a tuna before in his life. He went down with his dad. At 8 o'clock, when the shop opened on Monday morning, he walks in. He says, "Do you guys still do catch of the week?" and a few of the boys thought, "We've never done catch of the week." Then we found out he was talking about a TV show. But Brendan Osborne, he caught the fish at Portland on Saturday around 4 p.m. in 103 metres of water on 25 kilo mono with a Penn International rod and a Kuma reel. Sunday, 11 a.m, same spot, 92 metres of water. They had a triple hookup on suspected barrels. They also broke one off straight away. One lasted 30 minutes before taking the lure, and the other lasted 3 hours before spinning the lure 20 foot from the boat after a 3-hour fight. Well done, Brendan, because your second and your third time you go tuna fishing probably won't be anywhere near as good as that.
That's right. And this late in the season too, no one had even, half the charter boats are packed up and gone not looking for these fish anymore.
Don't
And all of a sudden,
Don't worry about
At least you got to look at
Portland.
them, last one.
And this is a bit of an anonymous one because I'm sure this isn't his real name, but Wombat Burrows. Who knows?
Hang on, look at the photo.
Anyway, a 95 kilo tuna taken out of Apollo Bay. Thank you very much.
And this is awesome because when Portland was going right off in the middle of the season, and we did have these big fish being caught, everyone, it was on the lips of every Victorian. Oh, surely they'd be at Apollo Bay. Surely. Nothing really happened. Everyone forgot about it. Now, again, this late in the season, Apollo Bay, bang, 95 kilos.
That's a cracker of a fish.
That's
isn't
a
it?
nice fish.
Let's keep the diversity going. The old Australian salmon, Brian Rinaldi, he's the king of Australian salmon. He got down to Inverloch, as did I, and I didn't see him down there, but he caught fish and I didn't.
You're in the wrong spot.
Brian, just some... look... If there's going to be big salmon around caught in the surf, Brian's going to catch them, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. I spoke to Brian this afternoon and he was pumped. He was like, talking to him was like a little kid catching his first salmon because they were down there at Inverloch and they had families around them. There was kids 3 and 4 years old who have never caught fish before.
It's a bit of a competition, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was down there for Cranbourne Angling Club and... obviously versus
Langwarren Juniors or
one
something.
of them, anyway. They had an all right session in the surf at Venus Bay, Beach 1, 8 salmon, nothing too huge. Come back into Inverloch itself, and they just went bananas. So there was 3 and 4 year old kids poling salmon up. Some lures going behind them, some going in the water. Anything that hit the water got a fish. It was just one of those sessions.
Let's keep the mix up going. Chris Sleverson, 42 centimetre brim at Tooradin.
Cool, that's a nice brim.
Chris wrote to us and said, I'm not sure whether there's many bream meant to be around Tooradin, but I can tell you what, he wasn't doing anything special, but he spent a little bit of time there lately, and a 42 centimetre, that's something you write home about,
I was
isn't
going
it?
to say that brim
That's a
would
cracker.
Yeah, it is.
that brim would be spoken about caught in the middle of Gippsland, some of the most prime brim waters in the world.
Yeah,
That to
It's
come
up
out of our
Tooradin.
own backyard
yeah,
is unreal.
yeah.
Something
He
you
did
want
want
to
to
see in
tell
a
us
comp, don't you?
he wanted to tell us the tide times and all that. The time. No, don't give your secrets
Chris,
away.
you just go and fish that a few more times before we let that
and
information out.
enjoy your catch. Well done. And lucky last, Owen Thompson, a beautiful snapper in the north arm of Western Port. Look, there were several good snappers sent to us this week, and. It's going to be that time. Those early season snapper are going to come into the waterways, and there's going to be some great catches, often bigger.
I was going to say, generally a size class above what we're used to catching in the middle of November.
Yeah.
If you want to sit out there at night time, that seems to be where the the bigger fish, I guess the more consistent, larger fish are coming from.
Yeah,
But
nighttime photo there. So
some big fish this time of year.
Absolutely. Now, I know it was night time. I don't think he got it too far off daybreak either, so you don't need to be up at 2 or 3 in the morning at this time of year. Just the right time, right tide, and
I
the
think
fish
that's,
are there.
and I think that's the key, finding the tide where these fish are going to actively feed on. That'll be the challenge for the next couple of months until we get into October, November, when basically pick a tide change and you'll catch them. That's half the fun of this time of year, finding out that tide, because when you get it right, the rewards are huge.
Yeah, they're coming up on the sounders already.
Yeah, sound up.
Yep. We're getting very close to an exciting time of the year. If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
Coming up on Talking Fishing Product of the Week, and we take a look at Murray cod production in the hatchery right after this.
Talking fishing.
Make mine a Mornington.
G'day, David Kramer here. I'm a massive fan of the Mazda BT50, having personally driven and owned one for more than 5 years now. And to tell you what, you can't beat them for an all-round great ute and a great tow vehicle. Get into Mornington Mazda before the end of the month and grab yourself a run-out bargain. Plus, with every BT50, you get all this $500 worth of fishing gear for free. I made mine a Mornington Mazda.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda.
Product of the Week, brought to you by Tackle World, now with 8 great locations around Victoria. Tackle World, where our advice is priceless, that's why it's for free.
See you down at Tackle World today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And last week we mentioned the big AFTA awards that were up on the Gold Coast a few weeks ago, where they have awards for every different product category, and the winner of the best reel at the AFTA awards was the Shimano Stratic ads, and we're going to talk about the Shimano Stratic tonight, because what a unbelievable range of reels they are.
Yeah, well, I guess through the time I've been in the fishing industry, there hasn't been too many reels that have been as well received as what these have been. For a number of reasons, which we'll get into. A few new technologies Shimano have incorporated into the reel making process. Not so much a new body or a new spool or anything new that crazy. It's more on a processing level on their behalf, which basically just means smoother for longer. But we'll get into that as we delve into it.
Absolutely, ads, and look, a little bit of a shape difference, a bit of a colour
That's right.
difference, obviously, because
Modern.
these were the old traditional, the FJ white.
Yep.
But we're going to have a look at a little bit of a video now, just on some of the technology that's gone into this new Stratic range. Can I ask the first question, Ads? What's Hagani?
Hagani.
Sounds like soup.
Yeah, that's right. It's something you'll hear a lot about in the next few years, because I think it's something Shimano will incorporate massively into the new range.
Yeah.
They've really pushed it with the Stratic. Basically what it is, it's a process in how they make the main gear. As you saw briefly in the video, everything's made out of one piece.
So that main gear is not something that's poured molten metal into a press, or it's not made up and ground away with an angle grinder or something like that?
It's actually, it's cold forged. So even all the little teeth you see on those gears, they're not actually cut. It's made out of one piece of material, which means obviously longevity is a huge thing. Reels are designed to be turned hundreds and thousands of times throughout the course of their life. But the other thing is Hagani, it's a process. You see it in the gears, you see it in the body. They combine that with X-Ship, which has been out for a few years. And all X-Ship is basically means that the main shaft, the main stem, can't twist or warp under pressures, whether that be through use, drag pressure, all those sort of things. It's basically a huge process which guarantees you're getting the best value for money per reel, because you're going to get the longevity out of it.
Let's run through the sizes, because they come in a 1, 2500, 3000, 4000, 5000. Now in the old range there was a 6 and an 8. They're not doing that in the new range yet?
No, not yet. And whether we see reels that size in the Stratic range in the future, I doubt it, only because Shimano really separated their saltwater reels from their smaller reels. You see it in the Stellars. Once you get from a 4000 and above, they become a saltwater concept.
Yep.
I think it's just a way of being more specific, and that's the way the world's going. Everything is so specific these days.
Let's have a quick look at 1000, but when you get to 5000 I'll go wow, because that's my favourite, but the one's a cracker.
Yeah, 1000, so a size that's been part of the Shimano stable forever. This is your brim, your trout, any of your light line applications. The spool is not crazy shallow, so for those who want to run light monos, 3 pound, a lot of people, straight through spinning with fluorocarbons, huge these days. So the 1000 is what you'll be looking at in that reel. The 2500 would be, for us in Victoria, probably the most popular size over the last, for as long as I've been in the game anyway. This is the most universal size, whether it's trying to catch a snapper, still your brim fishing, 6, 10 pound braids, that sort of thing. From there you move into a 3000, which is a relatively new size, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. You'll see on the packaging it's actually classed a compact reel. They're basically saying...
Compact body, isn't it?
Compact body, that's right. Yeah. They're basically trying to tell you the reel should be bigger, but it's not. It's the same body size as 2500. The 3000 spool allows for more line. So this is, for us, as a lure fishing reel for snapper, that's the one. Because it's light, it's small, it's got huge drag. I think it's upwards of nearly 8 kilos of drag, but you can spool that with a 15 pound braid. 20 pound with some of the newer braids, they're getting that thin, and that reel will cope, no worries at all. It then moves into the 4000 size, which we all know that's been huge in the ranges in previous years. Would that be
your most popular trelly, a 4 for cod or a 5?
Yeah, now with the new braids, like Adam says, with the new braids, they are changing to smaller reels that are stronger, so it definitely fits into it. That, along with the 2500 for redfin and yellow belly.
So 4000, your typical 4000 size, you can run anywhere up to a 20, maybe 30, but you're probably pushing it. Up to a 20 pound braid's perfect for it.
Yeah, you know I'm good at my technology. The 4 and 5 have got higher retrieve rate, have they? Like the extra gear?
That's right. So they're basically trying to corner the light game fishing market with some of these things. Yeah. Now, when I say game fishing, I'm talking maybe your smaller sides of your big pelagics, whether it be kingfish up north, small mackerel, trevally, that sort of thing.
That's got a bigger knob.
It has. Thanks, Charlie. The 5000, again, similar concept to the 3000. It's a 4000 body, so a compact body, big spool, big power handle, and it's amazing how much that big handle makes a difference in getting line back on the reel. So if you're looking at it for kingfish, or you want to take it away travelling, the 5000 is one you'll be looking at. We've probably found over the last few years with snapper, our normal bait snapper fishing rods getting lighter and lighter, 5000 is quickly becoming one of the most popular reels because it's such a versatile size. That compact body with the big spool, you run up to a 30 pound braid on that, no worries at all. You're upwards of 10 kilos of drag. You can basically catch whatever you want anywhere around the country, whether it's barra, mackerel, kingfish, snapper, whatever you want. The 5000 is definitely up there with one of the more versatile members of the new Stratic family.
What a range of fishing reels. I tell you what, get into your local tackle store and have a look, because Stratic, the new model FK, unbelievable, and the quality second to none, isn't
That's
it?
right.
So-
They look fancy. It's a body shape and design that Shimano have never done.
Yeah.
And it really is a great looking reel, but the performance is just ridiculous.
From one subject to another, boys, we need to keep moving on. Like I said, a big show planned for tonight. Let's head up to Snobs Creek now. For those of you that don't know Snobs Creek, it's the state government, Fisheries Victoria's big hatchery. They produce millions of fish each year, and they've put out a very, very good video about the production of Murray cod. Let's take a look.
Murray cod is an iconic Australian native fish, highly prized by anglers. But it's also a species that's been under pressure because of changes to the environment, habitat destruction, pressure from introduced species, and in the past, some poor fishing practices. To give Murray cod populations a helping hand and improve opportunities for recreational fishers, we breed Murray cod here at our hatchery at Snobs Creek, not far from Lake Eildon. Each year, between September to November, several nesting boxes are placed in earthen ponds where large broodfish are kept year-round. These mature fish range in size from 70 to 100 centimetres, which is the optimal breeding size because they're the ones that produce the largest number of quality, healthy eggs. The nesting boxes simulate hollow logs, which are the preferred breeding spots for Murray cod in the wild. Each hexagonal box is covered in black plastic, which is removable. Regular inspections by hatchery staff reveal recent spawning events, and harvesting occurs throughout the 3-month season, depending on seasonal climatic conditions. During the spawning season, Murray cod lay thousands of small white eggs inside each nesting box. The eggs are sticky and adhere to the black plastic. The plastic is cut into segments on a template so it can estimate egg numbers. These are then transferred into incubation tanks inside the hatchery. Temperature controlled and oxygenated fresh water is pumped through the tanks to keep the eggs healthy and to maximise the number that hatch into larvae. This happens 8 or 9 days later. The larvae are transferred into rearing tanks and fed microscopic crustacea called Artemia, commonly known as sea monkeys, which we grow on site. After 2 weeks, the cod larvae are swimming strongly and feeding really well, ready for yet another transfer. This time outside to productive ponds, full of more live food. They remain in these ponds for up to 3 months. Each day, water temperature and oxygen levels are checked and the growth and health of the fish is constantly monitored. When the cod reach fingerling size, it's time to harvest and prepare them for transport and release. Staff are up around 4 AM to drain the ponds so the juvenile fish are moved during the coolest part of the day. The fingerlings gather in the sump and are collected for transfer to the hatchery one last time. The small fish remain in the hatchery tanks for 24 hours while they undergo a cleansing process to remove any microorganisms and to let them recover from any physical handling associated with the harvest. In recent years, annual Murray cod production from the hatchery has exceeded 500,000 fingerlings, with more purchased from private hatcheries if required to meet stocking plans. Finally, the cod fingerlings are ready for release into lakes and rivers throughout northern Victoria. Normally, the fingerlings grow to catchable size in 4 to 5 years following release, although this varies depending on the productivity of the waterway. Other native fish are grown at Snobs Creek as well, and include 2 endangered species, the quarry perch and trout cod. These breeding programs are mostly about helping the conservation effort, although developing recreational fisheries are on the agenda too. Growing Murray cod here at Snobs Creek greatly contributes to wild, healthy stocks, whilst enhancing opportunities for cod fishers. With funding help from recreational fishing licence fees and other government initiatives such as the Target 1 million, we'll continue to produce Murray cod and other native fish species here, along with our trout, which are all highly regarded by anglers. This will ensure healthy populations of fish for future generations to enjoy the great outdoors, our environment and a wetter life.
Now, if that's not enough to inspire a few people to get into cod fishing if you're not already, I don't know what is, because that is sensational work on behalf of the state government. Boys, we've got to go to a break, so we'll hold a couple of questions. I know we've got a lot to talk about that cod fishery up at Eildon particularly, but coming up on Talking Fishing, fisheries news, plenty more. We'll talk to Trelly about that right after this.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now it's time for the news. The fisheries news. Sounds a bit fishy to me.
Plenty of fisheries news this week. We'll try and get through a fair bit if we can. Let's kick it off. Talk Wild Trout Conference 2015, the first, in fact, the inaugural Talk Wild Trout Conference. Got to get me words right there. Saturday, 21st November 2015, 9:30 till 5 p.m. at the Mansfield Performing Arts Centre, View Street, Mansfield. It's just about talking about wild trout, because stock trout versus wild trout. There's a lot of people that love that wild fishery, and it's been a bit of a demise, I think, in sort of that northeast, and particularly some of those streams, just feeding into Eildon and that. It's been pretty tough. So there's a big conference, some absolutely fantastic experts talking at that conference, and then followed by a film festival that night. So don't forget to register for it. Registration's closed 6th of November 2015. If you want to check out the website, it's vic.gov.au/talk wild trout. A great thing, open to the public. Nice. Get along to it if you've got a bit of an interest in wild trout. The next one, the 2015 Goulburn Fishing Festival. It's trout opening in a few weeks' time, boys, and what a sensational time of year it is. Now, if you went back into the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, or whenever they started, that used to be a big celebration. We're trying to build that thing back up into a big celebration. Awesome. And this is part of it. A big festival up there. You can see all the things that are going on. Guided fishing on Eildon Pondage. There's a bit of a netted off area with fish there to catch for the kids. There's casting demonstrations. They're going to release 1,000 rainbow trout. You can go along to the trade show. It's going to feature exhibitors from all aspects of the industry, ranging from fishing tackle to local produce. Guided tours of the Snobs Creek hatchery.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's one of the things.
I've seen that.
Yeah. After seeing that Murray cod thing.
Yeah.
Go and have a look at it yourself. Take the kids, because you get to see all the little, the little baby fish, the eggs, that sort of stuff, and just a fantastic place to see. If you want to hang around, fireworks over the Eildon Pondage at around 7 p.m. Fly fishing lessons, children's activities. Trell, if you go, they'll paint your face. And cooking demonstrations. You can have a feed, and there's also prize draws. God knows what you'll win. But if you want to check out more info on that one, vic.gov.au/fishfest. There you go. Flying through it. A virus to kill off carp pest.
There we go.
Trelly, you hit the front page of the Shepparton, whatever it is. But a carp-killing virus is the latest weapon in the battle to eradicate the pest fish species from Australian river systems. Bob Baldwin. Now, I know that man from a little adventure we went on a couple of years ago. What's his role in it?
He's the secretary to the Minister of Fisheries and also tied up with the Minister of Environment. So he's right up there as far as the as far as what's going. And he's also very heavily involved with the Murray-Darling Basin plan.
Okay, so so their plan is, with the CSIRO, they've developed a virus that's specific to European carp, and it won't affect any other species. Scientific testing has shown the virus will only affect carp. It will not affect the Murray cod or the trout or the yellow belly or the catfish. Australian native species are not affected. And there's also been testing done on marsupials and other native wildlife, and it doesn't transmit across from the carp. So I'll tell you what,
it's
a government that can resolve carp. Tell me very quickly, because we're going to run out of time again. When the carp will come to the surface and they're dead, what are they going to do with them?
Well, that's
going to float down the Murray and build up at the South Australian.
That's one of a couple of big issues. They've got to basically takes them 8 to sort of 13 days to die. They'll float for about 3 days. And where they introduce it and how they introduce it's going to be, take a toll. They're going to get an army of fishermen out there in clubs and things together, and we're going to
them up,
scoop them up.
There you go. We're going to do good news, bad news, but it's all good news apart from this one. Bad news: midnight abalone bust catches 2 poachers out. Actually, that might be the different one. We've got another one. 80. This one come through today. It just doesn't stop. 80 abalone and a rock lobster poached. It's unbelievable. It just doesn't stop. And guys, I don't even know if
Do you know what though? The only positive to come out of this day?
Yeah. What
they got caught.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I have got that one. 3 men allegedly took 80 abalone and a rock lobster during a prolonged fishing adventure at Sorrento Back Beach last week. A call to the 13 fish line. Again, how fantastic is that line? 133474. It gets them every time. The officers intercepted a vehicle, found 80 large abalone and a female rock lobster in Berry. And I tell you what, and like I said, I started reading out another one that only came through this afternoon. Abalone, black market's terrible.
What's the price of them, isn't it?
That's right.
The pure
that's
price
all, and that's all it is.
Yep. People, stop being silly, stop pinching abalone, because there's a commercial market. There are recreational rules, you need to follow them.
It's not worth the fine.
It's just not worth the fine. Up next, Kramer's Mailbag and plenty more on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See you down at Tackle World today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Plenty of Kramer's Mailbag after only one show, boys. I tell you what, people are hot with the pen or the old email.
They've been holding on for a couple of months.
Let's get into it. Hi, David, Adam and Trelly. Yes, it's Neil O from Druin again. So good to see you all back on the TV last night. Great start to the new season. My withdrawal symptoms have gone. David, you made mention last night of the dual licence agreement between Victorian and New South Wales governments. I, being retired and having both a pension card and a seniors card, am exempt from needing a fishing licence in Victoria. What is my standing if I travel to any other state to fish? There would be many other older anglers like myself who would not know the fishing licence regulations out of Victoria. That's a good point. Is New South Wales pensioners exempt?
No. New South Wales, you've got to have a card that's actually issued by the federal government to be exempt in New South Wales. Your seniors card doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
So it won't cover you. It's Veteran Affairs, but it's got to be a Commonwealth issued. Commonwealth issued card.
So maybe what we do, let's put something together maybe for next week of all the states and what the regulations are, because this Victoria New South Wales licence thing, and we're going to save the detail for when Travis Dowling, the Executive Director of Fisheries, comes and joins us on the couch in a few weeks. But maybe we need to clarify what's the regulations in each state, eh?
Yeah.
And just put
because it is
something
a
on
hard
that.
one. They do all differ, and it's all these subtle little differences which you can get unintentionally caught out.
That's right.
All right, next one from Roy Kusani. G'day, Dave and guys. Can anyone look at why the trout caught out of Lake Eildon so far this year are so slender and out of condition? I wonder whether too many cod and yellow belly were stocked and not enough brown and rainbows. Maybe the trout are not getting the feed as much as they used to. Don't get me wrong, I love the stocking and native fishing at the moment, but we still like get a few trout in the bag to keep also. But they don't look right. Maybe fisheries could check it out. It just could be a balance of fish issue. It's also showing in reports from the lake on the trout. They just don't look right, as I've fished Lake Eildon many years. Thanks, guys. Spot on.
It's a very
A lot
interesting
of the trout are coming out. They're looking like pencils at the moment.
Yeah.
Very skinny.
They're breeding this
Could it
time
be a
of year.
spawn thing?
Yeah, this time of year they usually get a bit scrawny when they're going through their breeding cycle.
They're skinny, Trelly.
We've seen some nice ones come out, but I agree with what he's actually saying, because the cod, the belief up there, the cod are actually pushing redfin down lower and lower.
Yeah, okay.
So you have to work your lures lower for redfin. So perhaps it has a bit of effect on the trout.
Maybe it's a quite an interesting topic for discussion.
It is, yeah. We've got Anthony Forster on the show, on the couch, I think in about 2 weeks, maybe 26th or something like that. So I might...
Did we just start an Anthony
pile? Let's start an Anthony pile.
Boots off, Jala.
All right, John Politis, I think is the correct pronunciation. Politis. Hi, boys. Finally good to see you guys back on air for a new season. Tuesday nights have been boring on TV, as the family always enjoyed the program. Spring is not so far away. Hopefully we can get back to fishing. We're looking forward to all the regular segments, which are very informative. Keep up the great work. Also looking forward to meeting yous at the fishing show coming up. Well, John,
We'll be there.
we're looking forward to meeting yous as well. There you go. Hi, David. Love your show. This is from Philip Dunn. Congratulations on the AFTA Award for the best tackle store in Australia. Champions. When watching last week, you were saying that a guy got booked for using more than 2 rods while inland fishing, which is of course correct, but I thought maybe you should point out it is legal to use 4 rods in salt water. This is just a small matter, but not everyone knows the rules correct.
Correct.
So places like the Werribee River, there is actually a border. I'm not sure exactly where the border is, but it does cross where you're allowed to use 4 and then only 2 after that. So
Well, there's going to be a line somewhere, I suppose.
yeah. But only 2 up your
Fishing
neck
line.
of the woods, Charlie? 2 rods?
Yeah, but then you go to New South Wales and you've got between, say, the Yarrawonga Weir and Cobram, where if you've got 2 rods hooked up, you've got 3 rods rigged up in your boat, they'll actually sort of can book you because they've got another rod with the intention of fishing rigged up in your boat. So, yeah, there's all sorts of
Depends who
things.
sees you on the day, but you know what? Don't muck around.
Yeah, don't call them names.
A couple of other quick ones. Hi guys, love the show. Generally fish Westernport and was talking to one of the locals and he told me they were going to start longlining in Westernport. Is there any truth to this? That's all we need come gummy and snapper season. From Simon Vella. Simon, I think all the guys that hold licences can actually longline in Westernport. I don't think there's a lot of that goes on, but I think they can. I've got no idea whether that effort's about to shift into there, but who knows, with the commercial buyback that's about to happen, who knows? That's a question for Travis Dowling, I guess. And very quickly, Craig Waller, who is the Vice President and Publicity Officer of Sandringham Anglers Club, he sent us a few nice little snaps of a trip up to Bem River. The club got up there, and on 4th of August, 4 anglers from the club got up to Bem River for a midweek fish and got out of Melbourne's weather for a few days. And I tell you what, some cracker.
Yeah, good bream there.
I think they only kept about 18 for a feed over the 4 days and had and I know you love your bream. There's nothing wrong with a feed of bream. I love them. Wrapped in foil, a little bit of butter. That's all you need.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of eating them, not because I catch a lot of them or whatever. I just don't think they taste the greatest. But hey, as long as you stick to your bag limits, take as many as you want.
Cutting down a 200-year-old tree, but isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they take a while to get to that size, but you know what? Bag limits are there for a reason. Obviously, it's all going well. There's no shortage of
and if
big
they're
brim.
pulling those brim out of there and out of Tooradin like earlier on, I mean, that's pretty good. If you'd like to write to me or these blokes, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Charlie, what's the maximum size Murray cod? You're a clown sometimes. Just look at the face. You're a clown. Biggest size Murray cod?
75.
75. How long does it take to get to 75 centimetres?
Depending on conditions, probably around about sort of 10 years.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Would you eat one? No worries at all. Knock it on the head.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just checking. I was just checking. Yeah.
Cut him thin.
Those cod. When they're going back to that Snobs Creek video, and I know it's a very, very tight show tonight. I apologise. We're trying to get as much in because there is that much to catch up on after having 3 months off air. How good is it? All those little fingerlings. Now I'm not sure. Do you know survivability of those? It must be pretty good because the cod are doing well in here.
Yeah, I don't know the exact figure, but I know it's a low percentage, which in the terms of all the numbers of fish they put in, works out to be quite a large number of fish that actually make it through to bigger fish.
Yeah.
But it is a pretty low percentage. I mean, you're sitting out there with other fish and cormorants and we were talking about before.
It amazes me how anything that small survives because it's such a hostile environment. Realistically, when you look at it,
imagine being born one of those and you pop out with it and you go, oh no,
there's a cormorant about your B52 on it.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, the Melbourne 4x4 show, you're going to give a talk on cod, so you might throw a bit of that stuff into your talk and get a bit complicated. Just something to mark on your calendar for the end of the month, the Melbourne 4x4 Outdoor Show and Fishing and Boating Expo at the Melbourne Showgrounds, August 21 to 23. We'll be presenting a live performance of Talking Fishing on both Saturday and Sunday. If you want to see us, mark it in your calendar now, August 21 to 23, Melbourne Showgrounds. Come and see us live. Trelly is giving a talk on cod. Adam, you're talking on squid. Yep. Paul Worsing and I are talking on about a whole lot of other stuff, including a lot of rubbish about fishing. But anyway, it'll all be good. It's all good.
Covered.
And also, don't forget, if you want to keep up to date with all the info from tonight on our Facebook page, Catch of the Week, hotspots when Kevin remembers to put it up, and much more. Don't forget to like us, and if you want to see a repeat of the show or want to send a copy to a friend, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll find the correct links to Facebook and YouTube on our website, talkingfishing.com.au. We might even throw up that Murray cod at Snobs Creek little video up on our Facebook tomorrow. So pretty good. It is exciting though, getting back to that. It's exciting. People should go and see it on that open day, first Saturday in September, eh?
Definitely. Great day out, heaps of activities. Go and check out the hatchery for sure, because it's an amazing setup they've got there.
You've been
amazing.
there, Trelly?
I have long time ago, so I haven't seen the actual new setup there.
They've spent a lot of money upgrading for them, particularly the Murray cod and all that sort of stuff.
And it's a nice part of the country.
Yeah.
It is.
Coming up, this week's hotspots and what's coming up on C31 Fishing. Be back shortly on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worsling's Tackle World Cranbourne. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery's your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Hello, Richie Minnow here. It's now time for this week's Fishing Hotspots on Talking Fishing. Marvellous.
I tell you what, some of the things that go on during the ad breaks here are remarkable, and I'm going to test Trelly's knowledge of snapper very, very shortly. But let's get into the hot spots. If you want to catch a winter snapper, I reckon one of the best places to do it at this time of year is off Mount Eliza, and that's our very first. Well, it's actually warmer spots. We called it. It was cold spots last week, but it is getting warmer. So the warmer spots. Mount Eliza. The beauty of Mount Eliza is it drops off deep quite quickly. You don't have to go right out to the shipping channel to find your 19, 20 metres. And I think guys like Jason Turner from Pro Red Fishing Charters, they
catch them right through winter.
Absolutely, and we will see in the next 3 to 4 weeks some cracker winter snapper, probably up to around that 10 kilo mark, won't we?
Yep, definitely.
Mount Eliza is the spot to be. Rye, get down there. There is plenty of gummy shark action down there for those that are getting out there.
I noticed that, and big, like 20 kilo plus stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. They just don't stop now. There used to be a gummy season, I guess people used to do it, but it doesn't stop. Doesn't matter if it's only 10 or 11 degrees in the water now.
That's right, and that's the only reason we don't hear of too many reports through winters, because it's too bloody cold to be sitting out there all night.
Yeah. You catch them land-based, do you, the gummy sharks?
You can
do it. The
probably
beaches,
more Western Port.
the beaches more than anything.
Getting back to the winter snapper, I know what I'm talking
That's
about
how
here.
exciting it is. You can't spit it out.
The warmest spot, number 3, has got to be Hastings for those people getting out. And we saw that North Arm, which heads up around Stony Point, Hastings area, that northern arm. It is the place to be, sitting off Lysarts, and hasn't traditionally been called Lysarts, hasn't been Lysarts for about 30 years, because I used to work there for 17 years.
So what are they catching there?
Snapper.
Absolutely.
I'm going to test your knowledge on snapper. I haven't seen too many whiting reports.
Very scattered. The last probably 4 weeks has been really quiet for whiting in Western Port. A few little hidey holes where a few guys will get a bag,
Maybe not
but
too many
really
people
huge.
targeting because
No.
people are out there,
Chasing
particularly at night, chasing snapper. They
And some
really
really big calamari have just started to move in
Oh,
too.
really?
I've noticed that over the last couple of weeks. The average size of the calamari have been quite big. They've been a little bit sketchy, a little bit hard to catch with that rain and a bit of discoloured water. But there's
How's the
some big
amount of people
ones.
that turned up to our calamari talk night last Wednesday night? 130 people. That's all we could fit in the
Insane.
shop.
That's
130 people. Calamari just doesn't die off. People love it. Number 4, Inverloch. You saw Brian Rinaldi with some cracker salmon. I went down and stayed the weekend at Inverloch, boys.
Clearly, you were fishing in the wrong spot.
down
Didn't see
at
your photos up
Anderson's
there.
Inlet. No, boy. Yeah, well, I only
Good
went
photo.
walking distance from the room, I can tell you. And Anderson's Inlet, fantastic. And there was a couple of guys catching them. I took down some of those lures that you had for product of the week last week.
Nice.
The soy runs. And, gee, you can cast them a mile.
Yeah, still no photo.
Yeah, the problem is that they dig along the bottom and you get a lot of seaweed on them. So anyway, it pays to own a tackle shop, I can tell you.
And some of the some of the salmon at Inverloch have
Maybe.
been pushing 2 kilos too. So they're not all
Absolutely.
small fish.
Yeah,
They're mixed in with, I don't know, Brian was saying average fish about 800 odd grams. So still a good fish, but 1.5 kilos, 2 kilos popping up in amongst them too. So
Nice. Bit of freshwater action, boys, and we didn't have time or anything to show the amount of fish coming out of Lake Purrumbete. But some absolute cracker brown trout.
Hey, I reckon a member of
and
the Bent
Chinook.
Rod Squad are up that way at the moment.
Bent
Just
Rod
saying.
Squad. Don't think we've got a report from the Bent Rod Squad this week.
No, because he's saving
working,
it.
is
No,
he?
he's
Saving it.
well, working.
Who is the Bent Rod Squad?
No, you'll find. I've been talking to them. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
They'll come out.
You'll know soon enough.
Probably see him at the 4x4 show.
Just know when they're mentioned, there's fish being caught.
Bent Rod Squad. All right.
Yep.
And lucky last, the warmer spot, Portland. It's got to be Portland. If the weather's good, get down there because if the amount of barrels caught last weekend are around and they stay around for a little while,
That's right.
there's some unbelievable fishing to be had and not many other people
And
out there doing it.
There still is plenty of school fish around there too, and they're in close. You don't have to go out to the shelf. They are in close. I've heard of fish caught in as little as 25, 30 metres of water. And flick your sounder on. You'll find them.
Yep.
Just quickly, quick question. If you're out fishing for snapper this time of year, how can you tell whether it's a resident fish versus a new season fish? And Trelly, do you want to repeat what you just said during the ad break? How would you tell resident versus...
I said, you just ask him. I say, you're from around here. He'd probably answer you.
Ads, would you like to explain a little bit more?
Generally, when we speak about new season fish, when you bring those snapper up, and the first thing you see is those epic blue, neon blue fins. Really bright colours, that beautiful crimson pink on the flanks. Very sharp teeth. The new season fish haven't really been digging their nose in the sand of Western Port or
Into
Port, crunching up
shells and-
crabs
yeah.
and coral and bits and pieces. But so really sharp teeth, but the colours, you'll
Yeah.
pick it straight away. A resident fish tends to be quite dark.
Yeah.
Can almost look a little bit ratty.
So a bit like a trout that's in, a fast stream, he's bright and
Yes.
blue and that, whereas
Yeah.
he's in a lake, he's dull and dark and that sort
And you
of thing.
don't
So-
realise just how pretty fish
Yeah.
a snapper is until you see one of those
Yeah, it's where they come from.
Beautiful
Obviously, coming from South Australia.
Sort of
yeah.
from South
Coming-
Australia, virtually out in the ocean. Yeah.
coming in from the
Yeah.
ocean. That
Yeah.
beautiful, clean ocean water. They're just they're immaculate.
Then they get teeth like mine, a little bit rounded off.
Chewing on stubby lids, yeah. Trelly, you're going to come back to that carp virus in a minute, but just quickly, coming up on C31, tonight after us, 9:30, Catch and Cook, 10 o'clock, Savage Seas Adventures with Charlie Micallef. Wednesday morning, which is tomorrow morning, Ozfish TV. Thursday morning, 6:30, AFN, and 7 o'clock, us, if you want to see a repeat of the show, 7 o'clock in the morning before you head off to work. Friday morning, 6:30, Catch and Cook, 7 a.m, UFish TV. Then Saturday, the big extravaganza runs right through from 6:30 to 12:30. You can see it all there on your screen.
Just leave it on C31.
Just all day.
Yep.
Yeah, have a snooze between 12:30 and 6 and then wake up and watch a bit
Get into
more.
it
But
again.
plenty on C31.
Have a show
Get back to
tomorrow.
that virus. What sort of virus is it?
It's actually a virus that is a natural virus from overseas.
Yeah.
So it's not a genetically made virus. It does exist in other countries, and it's a form of herpes. And
Yeah.
what it does is it actually attaches to the fish's gills, and they basically suffocate, for want of a better terminology.
Okay.
So it takes that 8 to 13 days for them to.
How do you put a virus into water?
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest. They've got all those tick boxes you were talking about before. I mean, you've got huge tick box. You've got the horticulture industry, you've got the dairy industry, you've got it just goes on and on and on. You know, it's such a big job to test it against all those things that are out there that, that you might come in contact with. So selling it to the public, it goes in the drinking water.
Yeah.
So, but
well, that wouldn't be such a bad thing. The headline saying herpes now in your drinking water.
Right. Well, I think it's probably some form in there now. Cold sore the other day.
Dear.
So the huge benefits with the actual native fish being able to return to a natural environment.
Yeah.
And there's also huge benefits to the economy because all these towns along the Murray River and the Murray-Darling Basin have to clean water to make it palatable. So if we remove the carp, the water becomes cleaner, the vegetation grows back, which filters naturally, all this type of thing happens, and there's benefits on both sides, but certainly for the fishermen.
So what is it that makes this virus just affect carp, or is that a question I'll save for Bobby when he's in here?
Yeah. We're going to try and get Bob Baldwin, the federal MP, down here and on the couch with us, aren't we? And get him to explain a little bit more.
So many questions. It's a huge thing. If they can pull this off, this is going to be epic.
Let's leave the rest of the questions till then. Ads, I want to ask you a question without notice. We saw a beautiful 42 centimetre bream come out of Tooradin. You had much experience around Tooradin. What other species would you get at Tooradin?
Obviously, it's loaded with mullet.
Yeah.
There isn't big flatties. I've seen some, not a regular capture, but I've seen some big flatties. There's also estuary perch, and there's probably more of them than what you think, but the hardest part of finding them is accessing them. Right up through Sawtails Inlet. It does get quite skinny and not really hugely accessible, but kayaks are starting to get in there, starting to find a few fish. The bream have been in there for a long time. You don't regularly hear of fish that big. That's probably the biggest one I've heard come out of Tooradin. They're definitely there, but there's just so much space for them. There's so much food. They can get right at the back where they're not worried and not bothered. It's a great little inlet, and it's worth fishing.
There you go. That's all the goss, and we hope you've enjoyed the show. That's it for Talking Fishing. A little bit of spring is in the air, which means one thing: early snapper season, and we'll see some great snapper coming out in the next couple of weeks. Until next Tuesday evening, if you're lucky enough to get out for a fish, stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, another big show ahead tonight. We take you up to Fisheries Victoria's Snobs Creek Fish Hatchery and take a look at how they produce Murray cod fingerlings. Pretty impressive stuff. We also have details of an open day at the hatchery in a couple of weeks' time. If you have never been there, do yourself a favour and mark the first Saturday in September in your diary. More details later in the show. Big welcome to Adam Ring, who's been down at the reopened Mornington Pier. Is the deck covered in ink yet?
Yeah, it certainly is, and it was great to see a lot of people down there for the opening, and what an impressive new pier it is.
Around about 100 people. I actually saw some photos. I know Mark from the Mornington store took a few, and a great landing down there for boats, so lower level, and some great stainless work up on the deck as well.
Yeah, the pier itself was really quite impressive. I know a lot of people would have seen it, I guess, before. Half of it was washed away and destroyed, but it definitely won't be a chance of happening that again. It's quite sturdy, and it's a massive, massive pier. You don't realise how big it is now until you get on there and have a look. So again, I'd get down there and have a look. Plenty of squid getting caught too.
And as I said, whatever sort of timber they used, it's now black with squid ink. But all good. And a big welcome to Trelly, as always. Trelly, you made the Shepparton News this week with federal MP Bob Baldwin and his plans to eradicate carp.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, there's got some really big plans for the Murray-Darling Basin. So a couple of years' time, we could see the end of most of the carp in the system, which would be a fantastic thing.
We're going to cover that later on in the show in Fisheries News because that is big. I mean, carp have been the pest, haven't they, of any waterway.
The rats of the waterway.
They are, and they not only from competing with other fish species, but the quality of the water and all that sort of stuff as well. It's pretty bad. But I tell you what,
it's just disastrous.
It'll be a massive job to eradicate them. You just can't imagine. You're going to talk about it in more detail. Won't take that away, boys. Some other big news during the week. Lake Tyers has finally burst its bank. It's been brewing and brewing and brewing, hasn't it? That the level where the ocean meets Lake Tyers, there's just been that little sand spit in between.
So will a car park almost become part of Lake Tyers?
Yeah. The boat ramp. In fact, they have the floating pontoon, and the floating pontoon was actually up in the air like that from its mount.
Get your broom from the back of your car.
Yeah, so that's big news. I think we've got a photo. I'm not sure whether the boys just threw that up or not, but there is a photo of Lake Tyers all open, and there you go.
Look at that.
I was talking to Frank Melito down there. He runs the Caltex down there in Lakes Entrance, and he actually filmed an episode of iFish today. Not to give away too much on iFish, Porter, but maybe Paul, might have been doing a special on mullet.
Yeah, nice.
With Frank Melito, and it was a pretty big show. They had a great day down there. But Lake Tyers burst its banks. Open, it'll get a bit of a flush. It'll take a bit to equalise.
Give it a couple of weeks, and the fishing is going to go right off.
It's going to be crazy. Really will be. So it's a great time of year when things like that happen. It's a bit of a turnover, and there's a little bit of spring in the air, isn't there?
Yeah,
it's cold.
it's
dark.
Well, I think it was Sunday. Maybe it was actually quite mild.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bitterly cold.
Even today wasn't too bad.
Yeah, you're right. Winds have been up, but just that hint of sunshine.
Yeah, absolutely. And the wattles are starting to go up our way. The wattles are starting just to get some bloomage, so things are starting to happen now.
The other side of the Great Divide, Trelly, are you getting sunshine? You get on the rain? Because we've still had a lot of rain, haven't we?
Yeah, patchy rain. We're getting patchy rain, but like you say, the days are definitely just that little bit warmer. No wind too helps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nice time of year.
Boys, let's have a look at what's being caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, where you get to see yourself on TV.
And I'll apologise up front that we could not possibly fit in all the catches of the week this week. Remarkable, boys. We're back on air 1 week. The amount of fish that were sent to us was pics of fish that were sent to us was absolutely fantastic, and great to see that people are getting out when the opportunity, gives it to the anglers. They get out there and
stir them up again.
And,
absolutely.
And just having a look at the cheat sheet there, Dave, a bit of diversity there as well. There's quite a few different species caught, considering.
We'll start